Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You, and I'm here live with you. And tonight I wanted to talk about gift knitting. I wrote about this in the blog in this week's newsletter. And gift knitting is one of those things that's really, really tricky, right? We, as knitters, we love to knit, and we understand that knitting is this gift that we give someone when we spend time making something for someone. We do it because we love to knit, but we also love them, and we see it as this wonderful handmade thing. And I think we also see it as an act of service. And so the making and the giving of the thing isn't always the same as the experience that the receiver has. So I thought tonight it would be fun to talk about that and hear your experience on it, and also kind of look at how we can make the the hand knit gift giving and the gift receiving experience similar for both parties. Do you know what I mean? So let me hear your thoughts on that in the chat. So we've been having a little bit of a chat about it before we went live here, Amelia and me. So, hey, Sandy. All right. Amelia said, this year I knit for my friends pretty much all quicker stuff like a scarf, cowl, hat, or fingerless mitts. Right. So, what I was saying sort of before is, when you're making a really big thing for a person, somebody that you really care about, somehow we equate the amount that we care about that person. We want to translate that into the size of the thing or the complexity of the thing that we're making for them, because we know what goes into it. We as knitters understand that, when we're making something for somebody, that we're thinking about them all the time, that it's drawing us closer to them. Um, we have so much invested in this object that we're giving them. But, you have to remember that that's all one sided. And this is really the curse of the boyfriend sweater, right? You've heard of that, right? The idea that if as soon as you knit your boyfriend a sweater, he's going to break up with you. I'm sure it doesn't happen all the time, but I think the situation is that the knitter has, again, so much vested in that, and the receiver is seeing it as, oh, it's a sweater, and looking at it not as this time spent by his girlfriend thinking about him and picking just the right color and making sure it's perfect. He thinks about it like, do I like it as much as I would like a sweater from LL Bean or, whatever. So he may not understand the significance. And then you get this kind of disconnect between the knitter and the giver and the receiver. And that blows up in their face, and you don't appreciate anything, and you don't love me, and blah, blah, blah. Right? I get it. I mean, this is the whole concept of like knitworthy, right? I want to hear what you have to say in the chat. Um, so Emmy says, people always ask me for socks. It's been for friends. Yeah, they have no idea how much work goes into it. A pair of socks. Yeah, knit me a pair of socks. Yeah, go down to Target and buy me a pair of socks. To them, it's roughly equal, right? It's roughly an equal kind of thing. Oh, you're knitting anyway? You seem to whip them out? Do one for me. Nobody who doesn't knit really understands what goes into that. Am I right? So, um, my thought on this generally is scale back. Okay. I would love to sell you all the yarn to make all the huge things for everybody on your gift list. My dog agrees. Um, but honestly, for one, you're going to take the joy out of your knitting if you are going like way big, right? I wrote a blog post on this sometimes back that there's no better way to take the joy out of your knitting than to put a deadline in it or treat it like it's your job. And there's no better way to ruin the experience of knitting for someone, which is supposed to be this beautiful, thoughtful, really positive experience, than to, be like, oh, this is never going to be done, and blah, 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 putting all of that bad chi into your hand knit thing. So, all right, let's see. Okay. The expectations that we have when we're giving. Yes. 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 We have to let go of those expectations. Donna, and it's 17 gifts. Right. Right. I love your input on this, guys. This is great. So the lace saw. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's right in there where you just free me from guilt. Yes. I want to free you from guilt. Okay. All that being said, I felt like I needed to sort of clear the air on that so that, first of all, you don't feel like you have to knit anything for anyone. Okay. You don't owe anybody a hand knit gift. Okay. It's like so many things that we bestow freely. And those of you who know me well know exactly what I'm talking about. We're not obligated to give that. We're not obligated to give of ourselves. And a knitted gift really is a gift of self. I do feel like it is an act of service. Um, that being said, there are ways to kind of do both, right? There are small things that you can knit and not have it feel like, oh, you knit me a whatever, because I mean, this is what we do. We knit, and this is one of the ways that we show our love. So, knitting somebody a small thing can feel like an afterthought, or wow, it took me, it's not that much bigger than a swatch or a couple swatches or whatever. And to us, that feels like not that great a thing. Okay. So I wanted to first, like I said, unpack that. And second, I wanted to go over some ways that you can fulfill your need to show your love through your knitting and make sure that the gift isn't too huge and too fraught with emotion and expectation, but still you feel good about giving it and the receiver feels happy about getting it. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think the key of it really is in pairing the hand knit gift with something else that makes it an experience. Because at the end of the day, knitting, it's fine craft. All right. Knitting is largely utilitarian. Okay, there are things that are not utilitarian that we knit, but those live in art museums, right? At the Glenstone Museum, there are knitted art installations. The things that we knit on a daily basis are things that we use. We either wear them or we use them in our daily life, right? And it's important that you're not knitting somebody a dishcloth and expecting them to be super happy about it, right? It's sort of like your husband giving you a vacuum. Okay, I'm not going to be super happy about that. Maybe clean carpets are more important to you than they are to me, but I mean, I think a gift should really speak to the recipient. What do they want? And we have to get out of our own way with what do I want to knit? And take away the relationship that we have put with our knitting, that the more complicated and larger thing is a better expression of our love and affection. Think about it from the standpoint of the person who is receiving the thing. Okay, so before I share you my little presentation, let's see. Yes, Emmy, that's brilliant. Little Christmas ornaments. That's a great idea. I love that. Um, as I say, as I'm knitting a pot holder for a friend. Yes, exactly. A pot holder for a friend. Let's see. It's all good. Um, so let me share with you my little presentation that I did, and it kind of goes through some of the things that I've been thinking about ways to make our knitted gifts not so much about us, but about our recipient, right? Um, all right, let me just get to it. Okay, hand knit gifts, leveling it up. Hello. Okay, obviously, a luxury fiber is a better than a big thing. Okay, you can make a really, really small thing with a beautiful luxury fiber like cashmere. And those are the kinds of things that when you go to Neiman Marcus or Bloomingdale's that you actually see on the shelves selling for a huge amount of money. And it has this kind of universal understanding. Even if it's just a small thing, like both of these projects here from Clinton Hill, these are free patterns with the purchase of the yarn. These are 200-yard projects and they're beautiful. Now, the one on the right might be more for more beginner knitter. The one on the left is much more Amelia, who likes things that are, challenging. Um, but both of these, when you give them, it's a cashmere something. People get that. Even if they're not thinking about the fact that you knit it for them, they recognize that the cashmere is, that kind of a thing, right? It's important. So, uh if you're knitting a little hat, these balls, a ball of cashmere runs about, well, it runs $52. The Clinton Hill cashmere runs $52. And that might be, all that you want to do. It might be, pushing your budget to do a one skein. But if it's not, it's for, a niece or a sister or a mother or whatever, knit them the cashmere hat, the one skein project, add earrings, get some earrings that go with it, and then it's like, it's a set and it's still a small thing, but it's still a wonderful thing, right? Um, Emmy asked a question here. But do you think that recipients would care for cashmere properly? Well, let's talk about that a quick second. Cashmere is pretty easy to care for. It doesn't felt the same way wool does. So, most people who are going to have a cashmere thing, if they're going to throw it in the washer, it's probably not going to be destroyed the way a merino something. If you, I would always gift somebody you're giving cashmere to, I would always gift them a little packet of soak and say, look, this is super easy to care for. Put it in your sink with this pack, let it soak 40 minutes, squeeze it out, lay it down, as long as you make it really easy. But if you think that somebody that's not going to care for cashmere, then yeah, maybe not. But it's interesting when you have cashmere, take a little swatch of it and wash it in the washing machine. You'd be surprised how little it felts and how the bloom is really super nice. Okay. Thank you for that question. That's great. Lori says last year, yeah, good job. Yeah, I think having the soak in there is hugely important. All right. So you can always add like a little pair of earrings to it. For guys, this is a big thing. This is probably two or three skeins. This would be $150 scarf if you're knitting for your son, and it's a beautiful thing. You could always add cologne or leather gloves, or make him just the hat and give him tickets to a sporting event, where he can wear it. So it kind of makes sense. You're going to be going to this football game or this outdoor concert or this whatever, and here's a cashmere hat for you to wear, right? And if you're giving a really expensive ticket or something, you don't necessarily have to do it in cashmere, right? Yes. So okay, so let's say you're not doing luxury stuff. Let's say you're doing a pillow. Okay, pillows are really not that huge. They don't take that much effort, but it's a big thing. And people can use them, right? Somebody who might not necessarily wear a scarf, they might put a beautiful pillow in their home. And if you pair that with a great big huge woven basket, a couple pillows in there, that would be a really really nice gift. And you don't have to worry about it going on the floor. Again, it is important to sort of think through whether these people are knit worthy. Um, you could knit a couple pillows and pair it with a floor lamp. I'm thinking family members for this, right? A daughter, a sister, whatever. Somebody who you know well enough to know what would go in their home. Um, because we're not knitting for strangers, right? We've established that we're only knitting for people that we really care about anyway. And this is not a whole Afghan. It's, maybe 3 or 4 skeins of yarn. And you can make it even faster if you go chunky, which is a nice look anyway. Okay, here's some more pillows. This is a pillow. This one's by Georgia Farrell. There's a pillow and a blanket. This is a cute little pillow cover. You could pair this with a fragrance diffuser. You know those things that like little jars that have the sticks sticking out of them? Those are always well received gifts. This is a very pretty thing for somebody who's maybe starting out on their own home. Yeah, always think though about what color their home is. If you're in doubt, neutrals always work and they always look a little more expensive than things that are more colorful. Gray, navy, cream, taupe. Those are things that are always kind of look sort of leveled up. Um, so another thing is like tableware. If you were to knit a table runner, I know this is a long, big kind of thing. It doesn't have to be. It can be smaller. Pair that maybe with artisanal ceramics. Here in Leonardtown, we have the North End Gallery. There are several ceramicists, and they make beautiful, again, useful objects. I love mine, and I love the idea of doing a hand knit thing with a handmade thing, supporting a local artist, and then you can make a smaller sort of thing. Here's another one. This one's made of Noro. This is made with just a wool or a cotton or a cotton linen blend. Pair it with some candlesticks or artisanal candles. Um, that would be a beautiful gift, and it's really kind of fun. And I did want to tell you guys that in the um, in the description here of the um, for the video, I have a link where I have all of the links for all of the projects plus some extras that I show here. I have that, and if you go there, you can put in your email, and I will email it to you, and then you have it all there. So more tableware. These are placemats that you could put with, you could do set of little dishes. You could do some of those kind of big bowls. Everybody's using bowls, for eating everything. I love a good grain bowl. Or you could make them out of a thicker yarn, make them smaller and make it like a little trivet or hot pad, like Emmy was talking about for a Le Creuset. If you're giving somebody, I gave my daughters Le Creuset dishes, the pots, the big double, the Dutch ovens last year for Christmas. I could easily have topped a pretty little hand knit trivet or hot pad in there, and that would have been a really nice touch. Here's a really small thing that takes almost no time to knit, but would be lovely with paired with the luxury napkins. Again, make napkin rings. You could probably use scrap yarn, although I never really encourage you to use scrap yarn for gift because it feels, well, like a scrap. But you could do really pretty ones. These are assorted. They're all the same color, but they have different patterns, which is nice. These are all the same, but they have beads in different patterns of the constellation, which I love. Um, and pair those with luxury napkins. You can get luxury napkins at Home Goods. You could get them at Crate and Barrel, anywhere you like, and that's a really pretty gift too. More napkin rings. You could go, I know if you like knitting things that are really fun, these have kind of a little Nordic motif, which I think is great. I don't know about you guys, but I love a good cloth napkin. I love it for the whole environmental thing. It just feels nicer. So I love this idea of hand knit napkin rings. I think it would be fun. Let's see. Mindy loves it too. Yes, I think that would be great. Um, Yes, wonderful. That's a brilliant idea, Amelia. Yes, do bookmarks, and instead of just giving them the bookmark, give them a book or two that you love, that you know they would love too, right? And then that that makes a connection, right? It's a book, it's a bookmark, and it's, hey, I loved this book and I wanted you to read it, or I want you to have it, or I thought you would enjoy it as well. And, let's get together for coffee after and talk about it. So then you have like this whole experience around the gift. It's that lace weight bookmark that's tiny, it's the book, and it's an invitation to get together, which is such a rarity now. Time for me, that's part of my love language, is spending quality time with people that I care about. um, so I love that idea, Amelia. I think that's brilliant. Love the napkin. Good, 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 good. Yes, absolutely. Fantastic idea. Okay, so where are we? Okay. Okay, so while we're talking about all the homewares that we're giving, it tends to be women that get homewares, and I did mention scrubbies, which I don't advise anybody to give a scrubby as a Christmas gift. Um, if you're giving, napkin rings or placemats or whatever, tea towels or whatever, consider pairing that with a restaurant gift certificate, so it doesn't feel like you expect them to just be cooking all the time. And I think that's kind of a fun pairing, right? Okay. Coffee and tea lovers, these are both really cute little cozies for French press coffee. Give them the cozy, give them the French press, give them some high-end coffee beans, or a set of mugs, or something else that sort of goes with it. So it's a whole experience. Same thing with the tea, right? Here's a cute little tea cozy, give them the little pot, give them the tea bags. You could knit a little container for the tea bags. You could give them a set of silver spoons, or a silver spoon, or a little tray, or something else. So again, they have that experience of all of it. Because a little tea cozy, that doesn't take any time to knit up. And it doesn't have to be lace like that. It does if you're Amelia and you love to knit lace. But, for most of us, it could be just simple stockinette. And I will also tell you that while I was doing the research for this, I found the most adorable set of tea cozies that are in the shape of Prince Charles and Diana in her wedding dress and Camilla and the whole thing. And if that's your jam and you like to make little people, that would be like amazing. I love it. Okay. What else we got? I thought this was amazing. This is not much bigger than, it's certainly no bigger than a scarf, a small scarf, but a beautiful bread basket liner. Get yourself a basket. They have them at Michael's. They have them at, well, I used to say Pier 1, but there's no Pier 1 anymore. Knit a basket liner. I think this is such a beautiful thing in a cotton and linen. And then give that with a loaf of homemade bread or bakery bread or whatever you want to do. Um, if you're going to a holiday party at a good friend's house, this would be a lovely, lovely hostess gift, Christmas gift, all wrapped up into one. Um, you could do this with sourdough starter. I know a lot of my friends started doing sourdough during COVID, and they're still nursing that. You could do this with a batch of muffins or whatever. I think it's lovely and gracious, and it makes me so very happy. So I love that. Or here's another example of a bread warmer. This one's worked in a little mosaic pattern. You could pair it with a butter bell. You guys know what a butter bell is, right? You put the butter in it, and then, it's got water and the whole thing. I'm not sure how this one works, but yeah, some kind of a butter container or butter bell. Bread and butter, they go together. I think it's fabulous, right? Let's see. Before I moved, handmade Yankee Swap style gift group. Yes, yes, exactly. So even if you're not doing a whole tea cozy or coffee cozy, you could be doing a mug cozy. Give a couple mug cozies and mugs and tea or hot cocoa. I found a pattern for a hand knit cover for a mason jar. Everybody does those with the cocoa mix or the cookie mix in there. Do a little knitted sweater for the mason jar, and that's just fun. It's just a beautiful touch, and it speaks to who you are as a knitter. So I love that. Thank you, Amelia. All right. Plant parents. There are some really, really cute, teeny tiny things that you can make for people who love plants. And succulents are all the rage. Even really young people love their succulents. So you could knit a few little felted pots. The felting fun class that we're doing with Mary next month would be perfect because succulents don't really need much soil. You can grow them in basically vermiculite, and the felted pot is going to absorb the water. So it's really great. These are designed by Julie Weisenberger of Cocoa Knits. So I love that. All of these are cute little planters. Give the plant with it, give a succulent in this. This one's worked in super chunky yarn, which makes it go really, really fast. These are small little felted things. You could do one, you could do two, you could do five, whatever. Pair it with a book on plants. That's super cute as well, I think. This is a great idea for a plant mommy, a plant runner. So buy three or five, I like odd numbers, three or five uh, little pots and get some little herbs and put the little plant runner in there. So that helps absorb water. It just puts it off the windowsill, and it gives the plants really a cohesive look. Last year for Christmas, my older daughter got a plant light, and those things are pricey, but a hand knit little plant runner would have been a great little addition for that, a grow light again, and a book. And Leslie makes a brilliant point that air plants look wonderful in those hand knit, hand felted little things because they don't need any soil at all, do they? I have an air plant that I just love. Flowering plants, these are cute little pots. Again, put the plant in there, give them a brass watering can with it. I think that's a great idea too. Everybody loves flowering plants. And you can turn a $20 orchid from the grocery store into a Luke's gift with a little hand knit cashpo, a brass watering can, maybe a book on orchids. Turn that into something like super special, even more special than your hand knit little doolally. Okay, wine. You can spend as much money as you want on a bottle of wine. I love this little sweater for it. I think it's so cute. And it would make me so happy to know that somebody re-gifted this little wine sweater. If they gave a bottle of wine or brought me a bottle of wine in that little cozy, I think that would be great. You can spend as much as you want on the bottle of wine. You don't have to spend $100, but if you wanted to, you could get a really expensive bottle of wine, or you could get a pretty good bottle of wine and pair it with wine glasses. These are really tiny. These are hand knit wine charms. I think you use like earring bases and you just knit these teeny tiny little things with fingering weight scraps. I know we talked about scraps, but in this instance, I think this is super cute. So I love that too. the whole wine thing. Okay, hands, gloves. I get it. These are huge. They're a huge commitment, and you're probably not doing them for just anybody. But if you are, um, you could pair them with some luxury hand cream or a fragrance. You know, it's more likely you would be doing something along the lines of fingerless mitts. Um, and pair those maybe with a manicure set or some matching nail polish or a gift certificate to a salon where she can go and get her nails done, right? I think that's great. You could also pair them with leather gloves because I think fingerless gloves are great over isotoner or leather gloves. Love that. So I thought that was super fun. Okay, so here this is a quick little gift. Eyeglass case. You could pair them with some sunglasses, or if you're my friend and you want to give me a hand knit gift, I would love 5 pairs of cheap ass readers because I'm always losing mine. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that right. But some very inexpensive, fun readers, and um, you could do these eyeglass cases in fun hand knit yarn, and that not hand knit, hand dyed yarn. You could do them in hand dyed yarn, and that would be cute. I think these are just beautiful, and you can never have too many of those. Again, you could pair the readers with a book, um, you know, so that's a fun idea. All right. Anybody into yoga or Pilates or any of those exercises that use a yoga mat? You could do a yoga mat case. Pair that with a gift certificate to a yoga studio or a candle, or again, maybe meditation beads or a a book on mindfulness or any of that kind of stuff. I think that would be a really nice and thoughtful gift that sort of recognizes where somebody is and what they're doing in life. Um, these are not, scrubbies. These are our spa washcloths, and I think these are beautiful paired with a luxury soap. If you wanted to, take it up a further level, you could put a spa robe in there. Here's a pretty cowl again. Pair earrings and perfume with a hat or a cowl. So, and I think that is all that I have for you. So I hope that this has done a couple things. First, I hope that it has relieved you of the guilt of feeling the need to knit something big and intricate for everybody on your list, or for anybody on your list for that matter. I hope that it has given you some good ideas of some of those small things that can still be really, really thoughtful and very much appreciated and well received gifts. And I hope it's given you some ideas of ways to take those smaller things and make sure that they don't feel like an afterthought, but feel like a lovely experience for the giver, so that you both have the same level of expectation in that gift exchange. So, yay. Yay. Okay. Washcloths. Love that. Holly. Okay, good. Well, that's it. This is supposed to be a mindset shift. So, anyway, thank you for joining me. And again, if you are interested in any of the links to the projects that I showed, all of them except for the Clinton Hill Cashmere projects are in that PDF that you can download through the link in the description. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with too. So in the most recent newsletter that have the podcast, not the podcast, the blog post. If you have other ideas for gifts, please go there and add your ideas, because I think that would be helpful for people to see a lot of other things that they could do. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.